Hey guys, Jess with PeekabooWreaths. My curls are a little curly today. I'm gonna give you guys a second to hop on. I know it's early. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. It's about 9 o'clock here in Michigan. I know that's early for some people, but I'm on my second cup of coffee. So, here, let me try to move this camera up just a smidge so you guys can see my face a little better. But say hey when you hop on. I have some designs in my mind and I need to get them out. So we're gonna work together here and get some designs done here. Okay. Not loving that angle. Guys, I'm sorry. I should have had this figured out before we went live. All right. That's pretty good. All right. I don't know if that even fixed anything. Nope. All right. Anyways, you guys know me. I'll be peeking in. Good morning. Good morning. Get your coffee. We're ready to make some wreaths. So say hey when you hop on. Let me know where you're watching from. What time it is there. If you got your coffee. What you got in your coffee. It is 9 o'clock, so it is early here, but I've been up for a few hours. We're good to go. Okay, so I have 2 ideas in my mind, possibly 3. Look how pretty this Easter egg is. It has, you know, the aqua, the purple, the pink, the roses, the Easter egg shape, obviously. It's kind of like distressed. So we're gonna be using that today. And then in our second wreath, we're gonna be using this gorgeous sign. It's metal, and it has this adorable bunny down here in a basket. And it says bunny kisses and Easter wishes. So that is so pretty, such a gorgeous sign. And yeah, so we're gonna kick out 2 wreaths this morning. I'm gonna be using the same ribbon for both. I have this 1.5 inch and then this aqua distressed polka dot. And then for our wider pieces, I have this one. It's like a magenta, like see-through-ish one. And then we have this plaid, okay? So that's what we're doing. We might be adding some florals into the top layer because this has purple roses in it, and we got purple roses. So I know they're a little dark, but we might be doing that, or tulips, or some white, or some greenery. I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but I pulled them and I got my glue pot going so that we can do that. So first up, we're gonna be doing this egg. We have 14-inch frames. We're gonna wire it up. If you don't need this step, you can go get some coffee and come back. But let's do that. So say hey when you hop on. Let me know where you're watching from, what you got going on. I know it's a little earlier than I normally go, but this is the time I have to do it, so this is what we're doing. Okay, we need 12 ties, because this is a skinny wreath. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is meant to fit between 2 doors. You can definitely display it on a regular door, but the goal is for it to look full and fluffy, but be thin enough to fit between 2 doors. So we're gonna wire this up real quick. I'm gonna use my better wire cutters that I like, that are more powerful. So let's cut probably 1/3 of it off. Say hey when you hop on. Good morning, good morning. We're gonna give Facebook a minute to find me. I know sometimes it takes a minute for Facebook to show, so. All right, trim those up. We're gonna wire our frame. We're gonna use pink ties because it matches the pink in the sign. We did make them shorter because we don't need that full length. All we're doing is mesh and ribbon in there. On the 18-inch or the 18 tie wreaths, I normally leave them a little bit longer, but for the skinnier wreaths, we don't need them that big. So, hey, good morning, Annette. Good morning, good morning. Are you drinking some coffee? I got my second cup right over here to the side, but I wanted to hop on here and get this done before I got busy today. This is like prime Easter wreath time for customers, so I need to get these ideas out of my mind and into my shop so that they can get it onto their door. You know what I mean? So we're doing this gorgeous, we're using this gorgeous egg. It has so many pretty Easter colors in it. They're not, some of them are pastel, but they're more vibrant than pastel. And I think it's gonna be so pretty to use with teals and purples and magenta pinks. I have the best mesh for this. Look how pretty this is. Look at that mesh. Good morning. Oh, Annette's got some tea. Good. Look how perfect that is. I could not match that any better. This makes my wreath making matchy heart happy. Look how beautiful that is. You couldn't do any better than that. So yes. But yeah, this is the sign we're gonna be using. This is 2 wreaths worth of ribbons. Because we're gonna be using the same ribbons on both wreaths. All right, so we're doing a skinny wreath, so we're going to be overlapping, okay? So you wanna keep your thumbs straight here, and then just gather up with your hands. You're gonna be trying to make it equal on both sides. You're not gonna curl it at all. We want this wreath to look full and fluffy, but have a skinny profile, and you can't be curling it to be able to get the overlapping effect here that we do. That allows it to look gorgeous, but fit between 2 doors, so. But yeah. Do you have the pipe cleaners on it so it doesn't move? Yep. This, I tie them very tightly, right? You can see there's like a crossbar here. So I do the inside ones at the crossbar and the outside ones in between, but I do it very tightly so it's not moving. Like you can't move this at all. If you have a hard time like getting it tight enough, you can put like a little bead of hot glue, but make it tight enough where it's not gonna move. All right, so in this wreath, we are going to be attaching our ribbons and our mesh in the same step. So we're gonna overlap those. These are cut to, let's see, 12 inches long. Yeah. Got my pipe cleaners on there. We got 12 for this style, this thin style. You only need 12, which is kind of nice because it's about 2/3 of a roll of mesh. So then you can save half of a roll to do another project, which is what I'm going to be doing with my other sign. We're going to be making another one that's not exactly the same as this. It's a little bit different. And it has a metal square sign with a really cute bunny on it. But yeah. Okay, and then we just go to the next one. We give it one tight twist, and then we're going to overlap our mesh to kind of make like it reminds me of like a circle or like a flower, and then, but we're going to be like folding it down like that. And then these are the 2 ribbons that we're going to be using. I love this turquoise one. It's got like a woven material to it where it kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, like a sweater or something. It's so pretty. Hey Marissa, good morning, watching from Texas. Good morning, good morning. You got some coffee? I know it's a little early. You know, I remember I used to think that night. So I've always been a morning person, but I've definitely learned that since I've had kids that I am a morning person, but I need coffee to assist me. So I don't know if it's my age or kids, but I've always been a morning person. I always remember when I was little, you know, I'd wake up early on the weekends even, and I would go, one of my sweetest memories, I would go to the store with my dad on Saturdays, just me and him. It's probably because my sister was sleeping because she is a night owl even now. But I would go to the store with my dad and we would get breakfast making materials and we would buy them, and then we would come home and we would make breakfast together. That's such a sweet memory. Good morning, Elma. Oh, thank you so much, Annette. So yeah, I think I've always been a morning person. I've always don't mind going to bed early, and then I just wake up early, you know, when you do it like that. So, and I'd rather be, because I know, like, I've heard before some moms, they like to stay up late because it's like their me time or whatever, which is important, but I would rather get up early and have that early morning time than do it late at night. I feel like after about 7, I'm done. I'm like, okay, guys, let's start watching something. Oh, okay, Marissa. Laying in bed, good morning. I'll talk a little quieter. Alma from Georgia. Alma, you got your coffee? You got some tea? What you got going on? Getting ready to start your day. My dad was always a morning person too, and now he says he naturally, his body just wakes up. He does not even need an alarm clock. So maybe that's, I don't know. I feel like since I've gotten older, I'm not as good at waking up early without snoozing it. But we'll see. Only time will tell, right? Empty nester. Oh. I know some people want, like, me and my husband were just talking last night about pets. Like, we don't have any pets right now. They're a lot of responsibility, and we have 2 very, very, very active little boys, and we do not have a fenced-in yard, so a dog is not, or a cat is not really on our radar right now. But we were talking, we're like, one day when the kids are grown and they don't want to snuggle with me, I will get a pet to snuggle with me. Do you have any pets, Marissa? Yeah, my husband and I didn't have, like, so I was almost 30 when I had my oldest son, and then I was just turned 35 when we had our youngest. And I remember feeling like I didn't feel like that was very old. But now that my kids are still young, and I know people that have, like, teenagers, I'm like, man, I guess that was a little late. But who knows? These days, everybody's having kids at different times. Coffee and headed out with Fred. Aw, I hope you have the best day, Elma. That's so fun. I get to spend some time with my sister a little bit later today, which is why one of the reasons we're on here doing this now. I always feel like I have all these ideas in my mind of what I want to create, and most of the time I run out of time. So I was kind of thinking this week and next week are going to be my last weeks of doing Easter, because then we're getting a little bit close to shipping times. I do have a show coming up on the 21st of March here locally, so I might make some, like, smaller items on here for that. I'm gonna have to go out again and see if I can find some Valentine's Day door hangers that I can just add a bow to, because I know that those were really successful at my last show, and I want to be able to have something small like that, like, like little, like, $20 items or whatever. Put some florals and put some put some ribbon and nice pretty bow. Oh, 2 dogs. All right, Marissa, I like that. We always had one dog at a time growing up. And dogs are very special. They have little personalities, and they're like family members, that's for sure. Okay, we always make sure that we fold it down like that. Waiting for our weather to break. New York is cold still. Oh, Annette, I know. It's cold here in Michigan, but we didn't get the snow like you guys did this last time. Do you guys still have a lot of snow on the ground? We have snow on the roofs, and we have snow on parts of the grass, but just a little bit. But it was like, I think it was like 20 or something this morning here. So it's still real cold. But it has been sunny, But it's been like, it's like misleading, right? You see the sun and you're like, oh yeah, it's warm outside. And then you get out and you're like, oh my gosh, no. You know what I mean? Snow everywhere. Oh, nuts. No, thank you. Now we have sunshine, which is nice, but it's supposed to, not tomorrow, but Thursday, it's supposed to rain for a few days. And I would rather, I don't know if I would rather, I was like, I don't know if I'd rather have snow or rain. I don't know. See, so now we're putting our second layer down. And see how you can still see all the ribbons and all the pretties. What is like a mini pincher? Oh, multi-poo. So they're small, are they small dogs then? We had, when I was really young, we had like a mix. And it was really funny because, like, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys do. There was a movie when I was young, and it was called Benji. And it was like a dog, kind of like, he didn't look like Lassie, but he was like a nice dog, a nice, well-mannered dog that would, you know, be a good friend to the kids and, like, help them, you know, in adventures and all the things. So my dad said we could get that kind of dog. And we looked in the newspaper. And it said that it had that kind of dog for sale. And, you know, back then, that's where you looked for a dog, is you looked in the newspaper. So they didn't have any pictures or anything. So they had that type of dog listed. I don't even remember what kind of dog that was. But it was some kind of mix. And a specific kind of mix. Kind of like how golden doodles are like the thing now. And so my mom calls and says, you know, do you have the puppies available still? And they say yes. So we go, me and my sister and my mom go and look at the puppies. And of course, you know, it doesn't matter what the puppy looks like. We were just in love because they were adorable and small and, you know, so cute. And this one came right up to me and put her little paws up on my shoulders and gave me a kiss. And I'm like, this is the one we want to bring home. So we brought her home. And my dad looks at her and says, what kind of dog is that? Well, it was not the kind of dog that my dad had in mind. It was a little black dog, you know, and if you guys know Benji was like a golden curly-ish dog. How many inches is the mesh? 20 inches. And these are 12. So my mom calls the guy back. What kind of dogs do you have? Are you selling? Because this kind of dog is not what we thought it was going to be. And apparently that person considered any type of mix that type of dog. But we were already attached, obviously, so we kept the dog. But it was like some kind of Chihuahua, Terrier, Lab mix. So it was like she was like a medium-sized dog. But when she was little, she had like those floppy Chihuahua ear, you know, those Chihuahua ears. She was so cute. She was a medium-sized black dog. And who knows what kind of dog she was, but that's the vet's best guess, was some kind of Terrier Lab mix. So yeah, 20-inch mesh. When I do make these wreaths, I like to use some kind of like a more of a thicker mesh or like a higher quality mesh, not like the super see-through kind. Because even though you do put the 2 layers on, you don't want to see the frame, of course. So I already attached our cable mounts to the back with super glue, and then I did Gorilla Glue hot glue around the edges. You could staple the back, but I didn't want to risk it coming through. It's not wood, it's like that, they call it like MDF board. So it's like, it feels like wood, but it's not technically wood. This is our sign we're going to be using. So there. And I always glue one of my business cards to the back. What do you guys think about it so far? You guys like it? I love this mesh. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect match. Yeah, say hey when you hop on. Let me know where you're watching from, what you got going on. Marissa said it's hot there. Marissa, we're not jealous, but we're all excited for you. That you're in the heat. It's probably cool right now, comparatively speaking, to how hot it can get, right? I know, my husband spent some time in Texas and Oklahoma, and he was saying, you know, he misses how hot it was there. But at the same time, it's kind of like maybe in Michigan, you can't always spend time outside in the winter because it's too cold, but maybe where it's hot, you can't always spend time outside in the summer. That's what I was thinking about that. You have to let me know if that's true or not. All right, gathering it together. We are almost done with our mesh and ribbon step. There we go. Do a couple turns. And it is nice because it only takes, like I said, like 2/3 of a roll. So you still have, if you cut them at 20 inches, you still have 6 cuts left. So you can make, if you have 3 rolls, you can make 3 wreaths, right? You'll have one is one design, one is another design, and one with like the 2 together. So. But yeah. All right, we got one more. Oh, 2 more. So, something that's important when you put your second layer on is that you don't move the mesh that's underneath out of the way. You just go right on top of it, which can feel a little bit, a little awkward if you're first starting to do that. But it's kind of the opposite of what you do when you make a big full wreath, because you don't want it to be full. You want it to be skinny and look full, but give the customer an option to hang something between their doors. So we're just adding these all in, making sure that they're kind of even, mostly even on both sides. Did you guys see my live I did yesterday with that big bunny butts? It's so funny. Some of those comments were cracking me up because I had one lady, she goes, "I like your butt better than mine." It's just so funny, like talking like that, you know? So funny. I was laughing a lot at my last show because I had the Grinch butt wreaths that I always make, and people, they always attract so much attention. And it's always funny because it's like, I always joke and tell them, you know, my kids are little boys. They love to make jokes about things like that. And I'm always telling them, no, we can't talk that way. And here I am making a wreath with a booty in it. Oh, finish your inventory, where to store everything. Oh, hold on. I missed one of your comments, Marissa. Hold on. Let me see. We went to Canton, Texas this weekend. It's one of the largest markets out there. You get, but lots of I have Kirkland 50-yard ribbon for $3 and $5. Ooh, girl, that's exciting. That is very exciting. They make some good ones. I feel like it's like a hit or miss. You definitely gotta feel them out, but there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of good solids that I use from there. Nice. Score. That's always exciting. I know I was going through all my spending from last year, getting like all the tax documents ready. That's my least favorite thing to do, is like go through and see like what you spent, you know, through the year and stuff. You're like, it wasn't really that much, right? Not that many trips to Hobby Lobby. Was it really that many trips to Hobby Lobby? You know? So, but in my defense, I buy more supplies than I ever have time to make. So, you know, it's not like I actually bought that many. Like, I bought supplies just for one wreath. It's never that way. So, I always tell myself it's okay, because then this year I won't have to buy as much because I bought so much last year. Okay, actually I do not need a batch of ribbon here because we're gonna put our bow there. So I'm thankful I thought of that. All right, let me set these aside for a moment. Okay, so I'm gonna tie this off. And then we're gonna decide how we wanna place our egg. I'm pretty sure that we wanna put it over to the side and then a bow. And make sure that all my ribbon is on top of the mesh. Okay. There we go. This is what we got so far. Full and fluffy, but only like 3 inches deep. That's torture. I know, Annette. I know. Annette. Ugh. It's okay. Gotta do what you gotta do. All right. All right, let me see. So I like to place it here. Let me turn it so that's in the corner. So I like to place my Easter egg on the side here, and then do a bow here, and see if I can do some tails, and then see what we can do with the florals. Yep. Isn't that cute? Aw, thank you, Annette. Annette says looks great. Thank you. We got some, because we don't curl the edges, we do get a little bit more frays with this type of design in the back. So it's important to make sure you go through and fix those before you get it out to your customer. All right, let's add some pipe cleaners on the back here. Use pink. So let's get pink. I think I might be able to cut it in half. Let's see. Only one way to find out. I keep a spreadsheet: income, expenses, mileage. Oh, wow. Girl. I like that. That's smart. That's a smart way to do it. I always think that I'm gonna do that, and then it just gets away from me. I like that. Good job. That's very responsible. I'm always surprised at the end of the year. I'm like, how much did I spend? And then it's like, there you go. There we go. All right. So again, I had my cable mounts that I super glue and then do Gorilla Glue hot glue around the edges, and I always put one of my business cards. We're gonna be putting it right here. That's what we're gonna do. Because I don't want to have my bow exactly across, I like it to be a little bit higher. So I'm gonna stick this through here and attach it right to the frame. Some people like to glue their signs in, but I do not. I like to attach them even though it takes a little bit longer. It's just what makes me feel comfortable. Okay, I like that, Marissa. That's smart. That's very smart to do that. And it's inspiring. I really do need to do that. Because then it's like every year, you know, you're looking at your numbers of what you sold, and then you're looking at what you spent, and you're like, ugh. Well, my thing is, I include shipping cost in my Etsy listing costs. So when a customer pays, it says free shipping. And I do incorporate some of that cost into the cost of the item. So like if a customer buys something locally and they want to pick it up from my porch, or if they buy something at a craft show, it is less expensive than if they buy it on Etsy, because one, they're not getting a box, and two, I don't have to ship it. So I do offer local customer discounts, but even boxes are very expensive, because you know they're like 24 by 24 by 6 a lot of times, or 22 by 22 by 4, and I don't buy them in quantities big enough to get really good deals, I guess. If you buy them in higher quantities and you're able to store them, then you get better deals. But I buy them on Amazon. They cost like about $5 a piece, and They are like Uline brand, but you can buy them in bundles of 10. And then, perfect. I buy them in bundles of 10. And then I buy like 20 at a time, 20 or 30 at a time. But I know like if you do it like through Uline, you either have to get them delivered to your house with like a big truck, or you have to go pick them up from like a depot. And I just don't feel like my SUV could, you know, fit that many boxes. I'd have to get somebody to help me. I would have to get, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to get them in or out of my car. So I mean, I have help, but I don't know. At this point, the Amazon route is the way to go. All right, so we're doing this one. We are doing this one, which is purple roses, and it matches the sign perfectly. And then I want to get a pink, which we're gonna do this one, pink with sparkly polka dots. Okay. So remember when we do bows for like this type of wreath, we have to make them skinny, so we can't use as many types of ribbon. Just I'm gonna dovetail it. I want to make my tails a little long so that they kind of cover up some of the pipe cleaners. So I know yesterday we did like the 2 loops and then the 2 tails and the 1 loop and then the 2 loops. And then we did like alternating, but we're not gonna do that today. We're gonna make like, maybe like 10-inch tails. Someone said she uses a, let's see, 18 by 18 by 6 and 24. Yeah, maybe. I know some people use really big boxes, like 20. So I use mostly 24 by 24 by 6. Some people use really big ones, like 28 and all of these like really deep ones. But I feel like the shipping cost goes way up, and I just don't feel like that is, I don't know, it's not the way to go. All right, we're making about 6-inch loops. We're gonna make 2 on each side. I apologize if you can hear my furnace in the background. It is cold. So I've had people ask what that sound is. It's a furnace. We're heating the house. Yeah. And then I always attach my wreaths to the bottom of the boxes with pipe cleaners so that they're not moving around in transit, you know, like bouncing up and down in the bow getting smashed. Even though I do use wired ribbon, I don't want it getting all disheveled and stuff, you know. All right, so now we're gonna come in with this one. This has silver sparkles on it with the polka dots. So cute. What do you guys think about this wreath so far? You guys like it? We're going to do 1 loop on each side for this one. Just going to make 1 loop, twist, put it down in there. This is a bow dabra. If you guys were curious what this was called, you don't need this to make bows, but it's easier for me because then I don't have to hold it with one hand and then try to like unroll the ribbon and all the things. It's like the simplest type of bow maker out there. It doesn't have any measurements on it. You know, it's kind of small. It literally just holds your ribbon for you. Thank you so much, Annette. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Annette, are you a wreath maker too? You know, some of the people that watch are wreath makers, and some people just want like a little behind the scene peek. I'm all about it. I've been watching, it's pretty random, but I've been watching like dog groomer videos lately. I don't know why. I love those before and afters. I love them. They're so cute. And the doggy's so happy. He's free, you know. Free of all that weight and all that discomfort. Okay, we're gonna do 1 and 2 on each side if we have enough ribbon. Let's see. I did a custom order to Detroit and used an 18 by 18 by 5.5. Looked it up on USPS and that 0.5. Yep. Oh, I dabble. You made 3 just for family. Oh, I love that, Annette. Yeah, Marissa, when I first started making wreaths, I would ship out USPS thinking that it was cheaper, but with big wreaths, UPS is the way to go. UPS. And I use a website called pirateship.com, just like how it sounds. And it allows you to print out your label from home, and then you can just drop it off at UPS without having to buy a label there. And I like it. It's convenient, and I like that. Yep, Pirate Ship. Yeah, Etsy offers shipping labels that you can buy through them too. And I used to do like exact shipping, but I felt like Etsy did not do a good job with like figuring it out for the customer. I felt like they would like overcharge them a lot, and then the customer would see the price and they'd be like, whoa, that's too much, and they leave, you know. So that's why I started to include the price into my shipping, like into the cost of the item, I should say. Oh, and that's how I started too, making ones for my family. But then I wanted to make more wreaths than my family had doors for the same season, you know. Like I'd be making wreaths. I'd make some Christmas wreaths. I'd make like 5 or 6 of them for all my family members, and then it would still be Christmas time, and but then I'd have no more doors to hang the wreaths on. So my husband said, why don't you try selling them online? And the rest is history. 7 years ago already, this Easter season. The first wreaths I ever sold were Easter wreaths. Look how pretty that is. What do you guys think? Isn't that cute? A little simple bow. Then we're going to put something in the middle, like a flower or something. All right, let's put this in the wreath. See if our tails are long enough to cover, and they are. Okay, we're going to attach our bow right to our frame. We don't want it to cover up the egg, but we want it to still take up its spot, right? And with these bows, you kind of make it a little bit tighter into the wreath than you would with a bigger wreath. You still want it to look fluffy, but you want it to be as compact as possible. I love how those purple roses match our sign. I'm going to find something to put right there. Hold on 1 second. Let me just step away. I got my little Easter eggs over here. I've been using these little tiny cutesy tinsel eggs. Throw a little glue on there. I'll be right back. Hold on 1 second, guys. Then we can decide if we want to add any tulips in there. I refilled my hot glue pot yesterday. Ouch. So it's taking a little bit longer to heat up. The more glue that's in there, the longer it takes to heat. There's more to heat up. All right, so we're going to stick this one here. Tinsel eggs are so cute. Okay. Now we're gonna stick one right here. So let glue out the back. Make sure our loops are exactly where we want them to be, because once we glue that down, we can't really move those. Thank you so much, Marissa. Oh, thank you, Annette. It's just repetition. That's what it is. When I first started making wreaths, I did not add bows because I didn't think they were good enough. But it's been like, I've made at least 600 bows. Because I've sold, so I don't know exactly how many I've made, but at least 600. So practice makes progress. Still got some room to grow, but here we go. There's our first wreath. What do you guys think? You guys like it? Those tails. And see how it's still super skinny. And if our customer puts it in the door and the bow gets pushed a little bit, it still looks beautiful. See, nice and skinny. It's like a 3-inch profile. There we go. There's our first one. You guys like it? Give me some thumbs up or some hearts. Nice and skinny. Let me put a hanger on there while you guys are resetting for our next wreath. We're gonna make one more if we have time. Yes, I think we will. That only took not too long. All right, and I always stick one of my business cards on the back when I put my door hanger on. That's pretty, I like that. Not to toot my own horn, but I like this one. This is a good one. And it's kind of a skill to make the skinny ones look full and fluffy and like they compare to the bigger ones, right? Because they don't have as much in it. I don't think I need to add florals in it like I was kind of thinking. Let me take a double look, but I don't think I do. Because, when you're at a show or it's in your shop and it's sitting next to a big full one, you want the customer to choose it because, it looks comparable, not just because it has a little bit of a smaller price tag, right? So, all right, there's our first one. Oh, done. Oh, Marissa. It's just practice, babe. Just practice. All right, we're gonna set this over here. That's cute. I like that. That's a cute one. I like that. It's a keeper, as I'd say. All right. Let me get my stem out of my hot glue. I refilled it last night, and now it's very full, so it's taking longer. Okay. Next, let me take a little drink of my coffee real quick. Let me know what's going on with you guys. What's going on? Get my coffee cup. Do you guys have a favorite coffee cup that you like to use? What does it look like? Tell me about it. Most of my coffee cups look like that. It's a type of pattern called peacock pottery. My mom's really into it, so she gives some of her mugs to me, and I love it because it's like, it reminds me of her. And they keep the coffee warm, but not too hot. You can put them in the dishwasher, a lot of things. Okay, have a great day. See you later, Annette. You can catch the replay later if you want to. All right, so take 2. Here is our next one. Look how cute is this. It's so cute. She's like kind of sassy down there. She even has a unicorn horn. She's sitting, it's like, if you guys can see, it's a bunny with lop ears sitting in a basket of florals and eggs with like gold trim on them. And we got some fancy flowers. We even have gold in these squares, and it says bunny kisses and Easter wishes. Is that so cute? I love this sign. I remember seeing some other wreath makers create with it, and I just was very excited when I was able to get my hands on that. And we're going to be using the same ribbons, but different mesh. So technically the same mesh probably would have gone with it. But we're going to be pulling out some of these fuchsias and this aqua blue. And this is the mesh we're going to be using. Oh, cutting down on your coffee. It's healthy, I know. This is the main mesh that we're going to be using. It has border edge, but it's not metallic. It's the prettiest aqua. And then we're going to be using this one too. So we're going to be using this one and this one together. So this is the same one we used on the last wreath, and this is a different one, obviously. And you can tell, like, this was one that was cut from the beginning of the roll, and this is one cut from the end of the roll. So you can see how it's like a lot smaller. So that's going to be the piece, I think, that we're going to be trying to hide underneath our bow because it's so small, and it's not going to cover as much, even though it's the same length. So let me move these over here, and let me put some pipe cleaners, and then we can get started. All right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 pipe cleaners. Let's see. When I was on the road full time with my husband, I brought Mason little mugs from, every state except North Dakota. Oh, except North Dakota. Is there a reason you didn't buy it from North Dakota, or you guys just didn't get that way? That's fun. I like that. That sounds like something I would do. And then do you drink out of them now and it reminds you of like those times? That period of life? I know. I feel like I get nostalgic about things. I try my hardest not to hold on to stuff because I know, like, you know, the memory is not in the thing, right? The memory is in your mind and in your heart. It's not the thing. The thing doesn't actually hold the memory. But I've been having some troubles lately with my kids are getting older and they're not using their certain toys. And I know that it's best to just like let the toy go to a child that can use it, you know, like at church or, you know, donating it. But just been having a hard time with it. My oldest was really into Paw Patrol, the show. And he was an only child for 4 years. So he was like the first grandson on our one side. So he got like all kinds of toys. All the toys. The big toys, the small toys, all the toys. So then when my youngest came, my oldest was not into Paw Patrol that much anymore, you know, because he was getting older. And my youngest wanted to be, you know, like his older brother. So he wasn't really into Paw Patrol either because his older brother didn't watch Paw Patrol anymore. So a lot of the, like some of the toys that my oldest played with, like these huge trucks, like they're literally like as big as this mat. And I always joke and say we have a fleet of them because we have like, I don't know, 6 probably. Like they haven't been played with much in a very long time. And I know I should let them free, donate them, or, but it's just, I don't know, I got a hard time. I got a hard time with it. It's the only state I didn't get to go into fell out. Oh my goodness. Marissa, no. I'm so sorry to hear that. Jeez. They're a long ways up. I'm so sorry to hear that. That sounds horrible. I hope that wasn't recent. Jeez. All right, here we go. We got our 12 ties. Yeah, I think that last one took less than an hour. So I remember we were talking about how it was 9 o'clock. All right, let's go in here. Oh, I love that. I like that, Marissa. All right, gather it up. Gather, gather, gather. Keep our thumb stationary. Gather with our fingers. Keep it as even as possible. Set it down in the pipe cleaner. And then just fold it over. Make it look a little bit like a flower. There we go. Like that. Okay, and then we're going to grab our ribbon. We are using the same ribbons as we used on our last wreath because they just work with the colors and it was easy to cut, you know, an extra set. You know, because if you're making one, you might as well make two. That's kind of my motto, I guess. All right, now we're going to do a blue one. Oh, 6 months. Jeez. So sorry to hear that. Goodness gracious. It is a long way down, isn't it? It was kind of interesting. I'd seen something the other day that I haven't never seen before. It has to do with semi-trucks. And it was like a semi-truck that had a sticker on the back saying, you know, student driver, please be patient. And I'm like, in all my years, I've never seen that before. I guess it makes sense that you'd have to learn how to drive a different type of vehicle, you know, when you're driving a semi-truck. That makes sense, obviously. But I'd never seen like a student driver of a semi-truck before. So I was like, oh, pointed out to my kids. I'm like, that is something I've never seen before. That definitely is a special skill. I'm home making wreaths. Hand still hurts. No pain, no gain. Oh, are you doing some exercises or something for that? Like even after, you know, the cast is off and man, ouchie. Ouchie, ouchie. Sorry that happened. All right, so we're spreading these out. There we go. I hear an airplane outside. That's why I paused. That was interesting. We live not really close, but somewhat close to an Air Force base. So I know in the summertime we'll see different kinds of helicopters and planes flying overhead. Let's see, how long does it take for you to cut your mesh? Not super long. I don't know, I've never timed it actually. But I like to cut 2 or 3 rolls at the same time so that I don't have to cut as long or as much. And I use a rotary cutter and my self-healing mat, and be very careful you don't cut your hands, because when you're putting that much pressure down, you know, you have to be careful it doesn't accidentally swerve, you know, to the side or something. So yeah, I don't know. I know that the longest part is like dovetailing and all the ribbon, because you can only cut a certain amount at a time. So that's probably the most time intensive part. But yeah, I'm having to learn to pull a trailer behind my car. Wow. Yeah, that's a skill too. Definitely. I remember hearing stories about people with like campers on the back of their cars, like having issues with those, like on the freeway and stuff. So yeah, I could see if you were not trained properly or equipped to know how to drive that type of situation. I remember hearing horrible stories about that. People with campers on the back of their SUVs and like having some kind of thing where like the car was moving but the camper wasn't, or the other way around. It's like, oh goodness. But pulling campers is not as big of a thing these days, I don't feel like. Well, they are, but not like pop-up campers. That used to be like what was in when we were little. Surgeon says there's a possibility of oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like when stuff like that happens, it kind of makes you appreciate a lot of the things that we take for granted, right? know, when I had that flu, you know, like a month ago now, and then that bad reaction to the medicine that I took, it makes you appreciate, you know, your health. Maybe appreciate my health in a way that I hadn't really thought about. Because overall, I am extremely healthy. You know, I don't have to take any type of medicine, or I take vitamins, and that's about it. But it's always, you know, I've never had it any other way, you know, so although I'm, you know, compassionate for others, I didn't really know what it felt like. So I was very thankful to be back to normal. That was not something I would wish on anyone. We have a market Saturday and a huge one next week. Nice. Tell me, is it like spring? A spring market? Tell me about it. Have you done it before? Was it successful? Tell me all the things. I just started doing shows. This will be my second spring season. I've done 2 Christmas seasons. This will be my second spring season. I only do like a couple shows because I do have my 8 boys, and it's a lot of time away. But hopefully I'm hoping that this spring season goes better for me than last spring season for my shows, that's for sure. We'll see. Yes, girl, the stories I can tell you from seeing all kinds of acts. Oh. You know. I feel like semi-truck drivers, that's like, I feel like that's a career that not a lot of people appreciate enough. You know, you don't really think about how you get your stuff, how you get your food in the store, and how you get, you know, all the things that we need. Like a lot of, you know, you don't really think about that. You just buy it, you know. There's definitely men and women that are working very hard for us to be able to do that. So there's lots of moving parts. Okay, we're almost done with this bottom layer here. If you're just hopping on, say hey. Let me know where you're watching from, what you got going on. If you're drinking some coffee, I know it's a little early. This is our second wreath that we're working on, and if you missed the first one, you can catch the replay after this live is done. We're doing, these are called pancake wreaths, or thin storm door, low profile wreaths. People call them pancake wreaths because they are skinny like pancakes. But I try not to use that as like a marketing term because I didn't make that up, right? Somebody else made that up, and I just don't want to step on any toes, you know. All right, here's our bottom layer. Oh, first one, and you had to get licensed to do it. What do you mean? Like you had to get like your business license? Oh wow. I feel like having a business license is a good idea anyways, for like liability, right? That's what I always heard when I first started making wreaths. Did you have to apply to the show and they had to approve you? Or is it just like anybody can do it? Juried show that's the word I was looking for. A juried show is one where they have to approve you, like a panel. And that one was the Christmas one that I did that was very successful for me. How fun. Country is beautiful, the mountains are, oh, I can only imagine. I feel like anytime I travel, I'm like, oh, I need to do that. Why don't I do this more? But time just gets away from you, you know? All right, we're jumping up to that top layer. Putting it all over. Same thing like we did before. Put it down, spread out your ribbons. Turn. Go for the next one. is our smallest piece. You can tell this is probably the last piece on the roll. It's so tightly, not tightly wound, but I don't know what word I'm looking for there. But it's tight. Okay, so we're just pulling our pipe cleaner down, not necessarily moving the mesh, but placing it down in there, twisting it once. I'm sure we're overlapping it. Okay. Let's see, after my inventory, I will go make a pancake wreath. There you go. Oh, okay, sounds good. Yeah, so I have always made these, but there was a time when I didn't make them as much because I prefer the way that my bigger ones look, to be honest with you. I like the way that the bigger ones look. I like how you can add lots and lots and lots of embellishments and make it so full and fluffy, and you know, add all the flowers and incorporate all the colors and all the things. So I wasn't making these for a little bit, and then I remember I went to my first show and I only had like one, and people were like, "Oh," because we live in Michigan, right? Most people have storm doors, and people would come by and they'd say, "Your wreaths are so beautiful, but they don't work for me." And I would say, so you know, you can hang it on the outside of your door. If you have a covered porch, you can use a wreath hanger on the outside of your door. That's what I do. You know, we have a glass storm door, and that's what I do. You know, but people were like, "No, we have, you know, we use the screen," and so that was a mistake that I made by not bringing any of these to my show. So some people like them more because they do have a lower price point. You know, you can't add as much in, so they are a little less expensive, right, than the bigger ones. So some people that have big doors, I've seen hang these out there too. So I mean, all right, let me try to think. Okay, I think this is where I'm gonna put my bow here. So let me put that under. So yeah, definitely make some. It's good when I go supplies at Hobby Lobby and I don't have to pay tax. That is nice, Marissa. That's definitely a perk. That's for sure. I think I'm gonna do this next one actually. So I was short one ribbon. I have one turquoise ribbon that's not the same as the rest. So I'm trying to space out my stuff so that you can't see that one as much. I'm trying to put it underneath the bow. So let me see. Let's see here. I'm actually I'm gonna tie this one under and then open up this tie. You have trouble with flowers? What's the trouble with them? What gives you trouble about flowers? Let's talk about it. Is it not knowing which ones to pick? Is it... Tell me. There was a time, until like last year, I didn't, maybe last year or the year before, I did not add flowers in my wreaths at all. I just had mesh and ribbon, and they were beautiful. So, you know, you definitely don't have to add flowers. But I feel like it definitely steps up your designs a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, let me know, Marcel. Let me know what's giving you troubles. Okay, so I'm gonna put my bow here. So we're gonna leave that one. We got 2 more pieces of mesh to put in. Gather it right up the middle. I know when I first started adding florals, I would do it just to hide my pipe cleaners because I don't like my pipe cleaners showing. And I would literally I'd buy flowers like a sunflower or something that had like a big flower head on it, and I would literally rip off the flower head, like right off the stem, like take the stem and literally rip it off and glue it right on. That's what I would do. That's the way I added flowers in the beginning. Which there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you do and it looks good, by all means. But there's ways to make it look better than that. For sure. Alright, so if you guys see, this is the one piece I have that's not the same, but I think it actually looks okay on the top because there's only, let's see, there's only 2 pieces like that. This one actually will need to go here, so I'm gonna put this over here. They never look right on the wreath. Well, I would say a good way to start with adding florals is Hobby Lobby has these really pretty florals. They kind of look like baby's breath, but they're colors. This time of year they have yellow, white, pink, and purple normally. And I would suggest using those because you can just tuck, you can cut them up. You get a good value for, the bush that you get. And you can cut them up and just add them like right, not on the top necessarily, but like right in the back, not on a pancake wreath, to cover up your pipe cleaner. And it just gives it like an extra natural look. I always say, most people hang their wreaths outside, and even if they don't hang them outside, it just kind of brings in nature in with your wreath, And a lot of times, all the time, you can find florals or greenery that match really well. And it's just kind of like a finishing touch. Like sprinkles on a cake. You don't need them, but they kind of ties it all together and makes it look beautiful. So. All right, there we go. Oh, you do that? Let's see, I need to watch more YouTube. Okay, I have YouTube videos too, you can watch those. All right, let's add in our sign. All right, so this is a large sign. And let's see where we want to put it. I want it to cover up that pipe cleaner. So let's see. Sometimes we can push these pipe cleaners in a little bit. Here we go. Okay, this is what I want to do. So it's not exactly in the middle. It's more over this way a little bit. And it's covering up 1, 2, 3, 4 pipe cleaners. We can probably push that in a little bit and it'll cover up all the pipe cleaners. Okay, and it leaves a little bit of space over here. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so let me grab some more. So yeah, you can just, pick florals that match the season. Or you can start with greenery, boxwood, eucalyptus, or eucalyptus, that would be gorgeous. Those are easy to add in. Or a lot of times Michael's, they have like these really pretty bushes of flowers, and that way you don't even have to think about like what flowers go together because they're already together on a bush. You can do that. Or you don't need to add them at all, obviously. Your wreaths are beautiful, I'm sure. And I was very intimidated to add flowers when I went to my only wreath retreat I ever went to, and they were adding florals in. Like they had a kit that you would make. It was like a make and take. It was not like a make and take. It was a make and take. And it was a patriotic wreath, and it had florals included that were matching. And I was like, okay, well, the expert already matched them all together, so she must know what's going on. And it was very unnatural for me, like where to add them in. And I was asking a lot of questions, like I was very unsure of myself. And I added them in, and I posted that wreath like while I was still at the retreat. I was like, it was local, and I was like, this is what I'm making, guys, you know, because I was excited to be there. And somebody bought it before I could even list it on Etsy because they thought it looked so good. And I was like, oh, okay, well, apparently that's all the confidence I need to add florals into my wreaths. Because I guess they look so good somebody wants to buy them. So I guess this will work for us. So that's where it all began. But yeah, I didn't add florals. I didn't even have bows at first. So I mean, it's all kind of progress. It's been a little while. Oh yeah, boxwood, yep. I think boxwood and eucalyptus are nice safe greeneries that go with everything, pretty much. They're not like seasonal dependent or anything like that. It's a good choice. All right, let's add this one in. And I always attach my frames my signs right to the frame. You know, some people will glue them in. If that works for them, you know, do what works for you. I'm not saying that the way that I do it is like the absolute best way, right? But it's just the way that works for me. So if it works for you too, then it saves you trying to figure it out, because I can kind of show you, you know. Okay. I want this to be up here. Yeah. Marissa, you'll have, after you make your wreath with your boxwood, you'll have to show it to me. Send me a message and show it to me so I can see. But yeah, I would cut it up and just add it in. See what you think about it. I would use Gorilla Glue, hot glue. You know, you don't necessarily need a glue pot. You can obviously use a glue gun, but I would suggest always using Gorilla Glue hot glue. Shipped out wreaths to like a lot of like southern states, and I've always used Gorilla Glue hot glue, and I've never heard anything about anything falling off. And I know that sometimes too, even like these wreaths here, these skinny wreaths, it gets really hot in between two doors, you know, and you'd hate for like something to melt off of the wreath, you know. Okay, there we go. See, we got all these pipe cleaners hidden, okay, except this one. That's where we're gonna put our little bow. And when I say little, I mean little. It's gonna be little. And I think we're gonna add a little bit of greenery in there. Our conversations inspired me, Marissa. All right. We're nearing the home stretch. Thank you guys for hanging out with me this long. I know it's been a little long. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. What colors do we want to add in? I want to add in, not this one. I'm just going to put a pin in here. I want to add in the white glittery one. I got a really pretty white glittery one that has iridescent sparkles that are not Christmas. So we're gonna add that. This one's so pretty. And not all white iridescent is the same, ladies and gentlemen. There are some that, you know, have more of like a purple tint. There's some that have like a green tint. Standing up just to get a bird's eye view of all my ribbons here. That has a little bit too much green. We do have a pink polka dot. That might be pretty. There's not really any, well, there's a little purple in there. I think we're gonna we'll use this one. It's sassy. It's sassy like our girl here. Let's do it. Okay, that's what we're gonna use. Those 3 ribbons. All right, let's do it. Perfect. I want to start with our lightest one. Again, we are going to make this small though. We don't have a lot of room. We don't want to encroach on that sign at all. So I'm going to do little tails, little loops. Let's see. We can make smaller than that. Just a 7-inch tail. Nice. Sounds good, Marissa. I'm happy that you're able to keep me company. We can keep each other company this morning. All right, so we're making about a 5-inch loop. A little less, maybe. We don't have a lot of room for this one to fit, so it's going to be little. Yes, I still have, I had one of my, I wouldn't even say she is a customer, but she's one of my mom's sweet neighbors. And she messaged me this morning and she said, I like your bunny butt wreath, but you know, it wasn't like perfect what she was like, wanting, you know. And she's like, do you have plans to make more Easter wreaths? I always got plans to make more. I always do. I always run out of time. And that's kind of, I was like, okay, I need to get on here. I need to make a couple of these. I need to get them going. All right, so we got that. We're going to do this. I want this white sparkly one on top. So let's do this one. I like that white glittery one a lot. It was new to me. All right, so we're starting, going over here. Small tails, small loops. Bringing it in about a 1/2 inch. This is a 1.5 inch wide ribbon. That first one was 2.5 inches wide. We're bringing in the loops, we're bringing in the tails, about a finger's width. Making sure that we pinch and twist. Make sure we keep our loops similar sizes on each layer. And if they're not, you can always adjust them. It's not too shabby, but that's the reason why I kind of, you know, set it up while I'm doing it, so that it's one less step to do, and it also gives you a good visual. I do not. That's the only platform I don't do is TikTok. I kind of feel like the audience on that platform, I don't know if they would be into wreaths. I know that some wreath makers do post on TikTok. I do not. I do Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. That's where I'm at right now. Not been posting on Pinterest as much. I need to do that a little bit more, but I do not do TikTok. Nope. My sister does. If you need gift wrapping tips. If you need gift wrapping tips, my sister is big on TikTok with that. Bee and blooms. All one word. If you want to go find some creative ways to gift wrap, that would be my sister. It's probably a little long, but it's okay. I'm going to TikTok is one, I don't know, that platform is just, I don't know, I'm just not, it's a little intense for me. It scares me a little bit. It scares me a little bit. And I'm all about the reels, right? I love watching reels here on Facebook, and I post reels of wreath making here on Facebook, but TikTok just, it intimidates me. It intimidates me. I must be honest about that. I don't know if it's my age or what. I mean, Facebook came out when I was in college, so, you know, I've kind of had Facebook since the beginning. You know, and then Instagram kind of goes along with that. But I just cannot jump on the TikTok. TikTok and Snapchat, I just can't jump on that. I don't know. A few people said I should post there, but I just do Facebook and Pinterest, Nazi. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, try it out if you want to learn that. So you'll have to send me what's your business name? You have to send me so I can come check out your Facebook too. Okay, here we go. There we go. Let's throw on our pipe cleaner. Throw in a couple florals and then we'll be done. I was kind of contemplating if I was going to make a big wreath with that sign because I feel like there's so much going on that you could add a lot of embellishments with that one. But I think the purple polka dots matching the purple, I mean the teal with the white polka dots matching the teal and the white polka dots in here is just fine. All right, we're gonna put it kind of out, kind of on the outer part. Okay, I'll have to look you up. Is that your last name? Nailani? Is that how, am I pronouncing that right? Nailani? Nailani? All right, here we go. Kind of pulling that bow in tight, but I don't want it covering up any of my sign. I'll have to go check you out and give you a follow, see what's going on. Check out some of your wreaths. That's the thing about wreaths is like you can't really copy anyone's ideas, right? You can't say like, oh, that was my, because like you could give, you know, 10 wreath makers the same supplies and they would all make it different, right? You know, so I'm all about checking people out. You know, they're get some inspiration, get some ideas. I did that with my bunny butt wreath yesterday. I was like, I want to make this, but let's see. You know, and that's why I got the idea to put the bow in underneath the ears. All right, let me throw a little egg or something there. Hold on. Got one last pink one. Perfect timing. Okay, I'm just going to bring my glue pot over. As I said, it's very full. So cute. All right, let me see what I want to add on. Okay, I want to pull that white, some of these white tulips, just a few. Probably top layer. check my time. Of course. Oh, Nylon is your middle name. All right, and these, these are what are called pushers. You can push them up. And then your greenery is right up against your florals. Let's see, I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these are from Michael's. These are their mini tulips. You can push your greenery right up. I'm gonna leave a little bit of stem on there. 1, 3, 4, 5. Because our last one is the bow, and I don't really want to add anything coming out of that. All right, so just a few tulips. This is just Gorilla Glue hot glue. I had somebody yesterday ask me why it looks like an amber color, and I think it just gets kind of burnt over time, you know. Make sure you don't get any glue on your sign or on your ribbons. Just kind of push it up, you know. It helps bring the white out that's in the sign and in the ribbon, you know. And if you don't like the florals, that's fine too. I always heard if someone copied what you did. Yeah, I hear you, Sue. Yeah, it is the ultimate sign of flattery, right? I agree. But honestly, like, I think it'd be really hard to, I mean, it's hard for me to replicate like a wreath I make twice. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't like it necessarily when because I've had people do this, and I don't know if they mean to, like, if they realize what they're doing. But if you see something that I make, and you have a friend that makes wreaths, and you want your friend to make it for you, I'm all about supporting your friends, right? But don't tag your friend in my post of my picture and say, it's one thing to tag your friend, like, you know, Tracy, okay. But it's another thing to tag your friend and then say, Tracy, you think you could make this for me? Like, right in my post. Like, come on. Copy and paste the picture and send it to your friend. Don't, like, ask your friend to make it in my post. I feel like that's kind of, you know, it's a little rude, you know? I don't really like that. I'm all about supporting your friends. Just don't, come on, you know? All right, we're done. We're done. We're done. All donesies. Just fixing my loops. I feel like as a wreath maker, I will always be fixing my loops. But yeah. What do you guys think? Pull that over a little bit. You know, that was easy. I know. Oh yeah. No. Yeah, you have to lay them down. They have to be this way. So even if, like, this is a big wreath, you stick them this way. You don't put them up and down unless it's a flower head, like a big sunflower. You know, you can do that. But no, you always put them in sideways. Because if you put them up straight up and down, it'll be too big. You can't fit it in a wreath box, you know? Yep, you gotta put them down sideways. And then that way it shows the florals out like that. So, like, if you want to go, I made that gorgeous bunny butt one yesterday, and it has really pretty florals coming out the set, like around the outer ring. There's these floral bunches. It's called 60919. That's like the SKU. And they come in like 7 million different colors. And I've recently discovered using those. For the longest time, I wouldn't use them because I thought that my wreaths weren't going to turn out good enough, which is a lie. Do not believe that. Do not ever believe that about yourself, that you shouldn't use a supply like that. Because they are a little spendy, but they really add a lot to your wreath. And you don't have to really think about which ones go together. All right, so we're done. So we got this one. I agree with you. That's I know. I mean, thank you so much, Sue. Thank you, Marissa. Yeah, the replay is posted on my in my feed. So yeah, we did this one today. Yeah, I'm all about it. Like if you support your friends. If you got a friend that makes wreaths, I'm all about that. But like it's just kind of rude. There's a second one. It's just kind of rude to like say. It's one thing to tag a friend because I'm like, oh yeah, maybe she's got a friend that would like this. It's another thing to tag a friend and say, could you make this for me? For your friend to make it for you. Like, come on. Handle your business, not in my business. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Yeah, Marissa. Yeah, the replay, it's an hour and 40 minutes long, so it's very long. So you can fast forward it, but it's got the bunny butt. It was from yesterday, about 11 maybe. So just go on my page and then just go down and you'll be able to see it. But thanks guys so much for hanging out. If you catch the replay, you got questions, make sure you write replay before you write your questions so I know that I haven't already addressed it. And I'll talk to you later. You like the second one more? I know. I like both of them. I mean, they both got, similar but different feels, even though, exact same ribbon. Yeah. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Have a good day.